Hi everyone, welcome on Money. I am Mark, and today I have the pleasure to host Mike Painter, CEO of LYNX Global Digital Finance, a company that facilitates global payments. Hi Mike, how are you?
Uh, Doing well. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. It's a pleasure to have you. So you are the CEO of LYNX Global Digital Finance, and before we go any further, could you tell us what the company does, how it started?
Yes. So LYNX is a company that's been set up to really to kind of tie together the financial and payment systems of emerging markets, specifically Southeast Asia right now. And what we saw is this real opportunity to come into markets that are fragmented, that have really good businesses that are financial remittance companies, banks, different things like that, and put them under kind of one company, one group, and then really give them the technology and the capability so that international companies and anybody who wants to address the Southeast Asia market can quickly come to one spot and say and sell their services. Because what we're seeing right now in the world is this really rapid expansion, an aggressive expansion as we see financial services spreading across the world. We see it here in Canada, United States, and Europe, but really the fastest adopters of digital services are people in these emerging markets in Southeast Asia. And there's a really big challenge. And the challenge is, 70% of people in these markets have a smartphone, but 70% of them don't have a bank account. And so there's this massive economy and people that are really aggressive adopters that just really need to have access to financial services, but the infrastructure isn't there and the digital financial layer isn't there. And that's what we're putting together.
Okay, and before we go any further in the company, I would like to know a little bit more about your background, because I guess being a CEO of this type of technology might be like pretty, I don't want to say pretty sharp. So what's your background, and how does your background helps the company?
Yeah, so I've spent probably the last 25 years working in technology businesses, technology startups projects, really focusing on what I call digital infrastructure. So this journey started for me like back in the early 2000s when I worked with a telecom equipment manufacturing startup. And we really saw new markets and what was happening in Africa and the Middle East and Asia. And I got to have a front seat as to really the adoption of technology in these markets. And then from there in, I actually moved out to the Middle East, where I had a broadband wireless company. I worked with partners there to build a broadband wireless operation network and infrastructure. And I've expanded my experience from the telecommunications into data analytics and really all of the components. So I've spent, 15 to 20 years in a lot of these markets in Africa, Middle East, Southeast Asia, building technology infrastructure and really seeing the demand that people have and how fast the adoption is. And I think that's the really exciting thing, is that when the technology is available, the usage and the enthusiasm for the services that we have here is the same. And it's really kind of really keen to see how that happens and be part of that infrastructure change.
Oh, this might be very interesting, to try this type of technology, because it's very scalable, and also you can also help the customers, right? And if we look at LYNX technology, so it's pretty brand new. It was created in 2016, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, our project with the company started just this year in January. So we kind of came in, the investors came into the company. They brought me on to say, listen, we have this vision. And right off the bat, there was a portfolio of acquisitions, businesses. And, as I said, I've spent most of my career in private equity, venture capital backed companies. I haven't really done a public company like this. But what I see is there's a tremendous opportunity to go in and partner with companies that are on the ground, CEOs and business people who have built financial institution services, and really partnering with them. And you can really do that with a public company. Typically, what you see right now in the market is you see unicorns, big venture capitalists who put hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars behind one company and grow it. Mm-hmm. Well, there's lots of other really good businesses that are actually quite farther advanced in these markets. And so we can really kind of get ahead. And that's really kind of the part that's really exciting about what we've done. So for the first 6 months, it was these core acquisitions that include remittance businesses, cash in, cash out, licenses in Australia, partners in Singapore, and the bank that we bought in the Philippines. So now we have, one of the more robust license portfolios across the region. And on top of that, now we're putting the technology that ties us all together.
Mm-hmm. And because I was checking the expansion of the company since the beginning of the year, and all I can say, it grew pretty fast with your acquisitions. I was checking Payrai, Arkin, J5, BRB. And when I was checking your earnings report, I could see that there were a $3 loss per share and 16 million deficit. You still have cash, 1.4 million cash, according to your last earning reports. And I was wondering myself, you see in the development stage phase, I would say.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, you have to burn a lot of cash. And do you think we could see any more private placement to maintain these operations, or in the near future, we could see cash generating in really like short term?
Yeah, well, I think what we're really proud of, and what's really unique to us, again, if you take a look at the landscape of companies like us, and really the companies that are like us are companies that have already raised hundreds of millions of dollars, that are being funded by the largest companies in the world, the big, the KKRs, the Andreessen Horowitz, and on and on and on, the Tiger Globals, people that have made a large play in the payment space. So what we've done with a fraction of the capital is really on par with what you're seeing in these businesses today. So what's really unique and I think very strong and sustainable about our business model is that our partners that we come in, that we partner with, are not big cash burning organizations. DA5 is effectively a cash break. Even if you take a look at it, the bank is got a nominal burn. The other operations have nominal burns. Most of the stuff has to do with some of the head office. So we've got a lot of strength and flexibility in terms of what we do. Now, where we do look to the future is really expanding revenues, right? Mm-hmm. Adding new revenue streams on, creating new markets. And that's the value that LYNX provides as a group, provides to our partners, to the people on the ground, is that we come in, we say, it's not just a matter of being part of this company, but really, helping these partners really drive a lot of vision. Giving international markets, giving new revenue streams. So we're seeing, we're forecasting some pretty strong growth that we see as we bring these revenue streams on. I don't have a big burn in the operations, and I think that we're going to scale very quickly. We are opportunistic. So, when certain opportunities come along, those may require more capital. Opportunities to scale new revenue streams or do something like that may require. But right now, we're feeling quite strong and good about what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Because I was checking even the number of outstanding shares, 90 million. For, I would say, the way you expand and fast, 90 million isn't that much, right? And I was thinking you also have 18 million warrants. So I still think it's a great, I would say it's a great path your company, LYNX, is taking. And so could you go back about Southeast Asia? Because at first you started to talk about it at the beginning of the interview, and I think it would be very interesting if we would dive more a little bit on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Southeast Asia, one of the things that surprised me, first of all, it's one of the larger regions in the world. Like, the population of Southeast Asia is almost 700 million people. It's actually larger than the entire population of Latin America. Which we're much more used to because we're in that geography. Mm-hmm. But you've also got some of the fastest kind of digitizing and people adoption that's going on. And really, COVID has been sort of a black swan event. These were cash markets that are 80% cash. And just like that, the demand, the lockdowns, which have been much more aggressive with COVID, has really forced people to be much more digital, have forced, countries like the Philippines now have government initiatives where they want to have 50% of e-commerce, and so there's a really dramatic change. And like I was saying, that you've got already smartphones in these markets, and when you think of what's around them, China and Korea and Japan and Australia, everybody that's feeding into it. So we see Southeast Asia as one of the fastest growing markets. If you take a look at other companies, probably one of the most successful stocks in the fintech world is CSE. They've gone from literally like $10-20 billion market cap to 150 billion just because the demand of their e-commerce product and some of their payment products. There's been some companies like Grab that have massive, SPAC sort of valuations that are being looked at, and Tacopedia and stuff. So this is a market that people are looking at very, very strongly. As I said, I come from the telecom space, and if you look back 20, 25 years ago, when telecom took off, really there was a point in time, kind of a tipping point, where everyone said, listen, we need to expand very quickly into emerging markets. We need to move very quickly. And there was just an aggressive move as the Vodafones and the Oranges and the T-Mobiles and to a lesser extent, the operators here in North America really aggressively went into these markets. And I think financial services is going to do the exact same thing. And I think that our goal right now is to position ourselves as the partner that allows these people to come into the market.
So right now, your main focus is Southeast Asia, as you said, because the opportunity there is big. But in the future, could we see after this technology used on other continents? Or right now, it's just your main focus is on Asia. And after, if we can do it in, I don't know, Europe or even North America, we go there after.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about payments is that at the end of the day, you do need to connect to the markets, right? We're about bi-directional payment flow. So even if we're Southeast Asia focused, we still have to provide our customers with that rail, that activity. So it's just natural that we do expand into these markets, that we address these markets, if for no other reason than to create that bi-directional flow for us to own more of the margin and the revenue stream. And I think that as we see that, we're seeing these companies in Europe and North America who want to come into this market as well. So you're going to see a lot of that kind of go back and forth. So for us, our service is going to continue to expand aggressively. For us strategically, we're looking at emerging markets. So you will see us expand from Southeast Asia into the Middle East, Africa, and to an extent into Latin America, because that's what we understand, and that's kind of the value proposition that we provide.
Okay, and okay, I know it might be a hard question to answer, but talking about the future, where will you see LYNX? So let's say short term, 3 years, and after, let's say more middle term, 7 years. Could you help the potential listeners and potential shareholders to see where LYNX would be in the future?
Yeah, I mean, what we look at in our vision, for everyone, the partners that we have in country and ourselves, our vision is, financial technology is the single biggest infrastructure driver right now. This literally is what we saw with the internet going back 30 years ago. And so in 10 years time, through different technologies, the blockchain, IoT, 5G, all these sort of things, what they're going to do is they're going to put financial services right on the edge. It's just so anybody can have it. And what it's done what's really exciting is that technology has made it possible that even the person with $1 is a financial viable economic person, right? So the opportunity that, so what are you going to see in 10 years? You're going to see people in rural areas in these countries who have a phone, who can now borrow money, who can save money, who can participate, who can trade. And our job as LYNX, and the role that we see ourselves playing, is literally creating that platform, making the work for all these really clever companies that are doing very specific things for unique people, letting it happen. We want smart people to be able to sell their services to the market, and we're going to provide them the market. So we sit there, the infrastructure, the rails, and let it happen. So in 7-8 years time, if our visions and dreams kind of come to pass, you will see a population of 700 1 billion people that have never had access to banking services that are transacting, and it's moving on a platform that we've built.
Couldn't wish any better, right?
Yeah.
And so for the future also, would you see LYNX going by itself or after being acquired by a bigger corporation, for example?
Well, I think that we provide a value, and we provide a value, without knowing how the global market's going to go. We provide a value that anybody who wants to come into this market quickly can partner with us or take us or acquire us or whatever. But that's the value we provide. So if I look at the entire universe right now of all of the massive IPOs that have happened, all the companies that are out there. And everybody, if you take a look at them, they all talk about expanding into Southeast Asia. So, you know, as they compete, and as what I think with financial services is going to become like telecom, where it becomes a subscriber. I have so many subscribers, and I need to get more subscribers that are paying me this much per month. You know, we provide all of these companies with a very fast and easy opportunity to get a large subscriber base.
Honestly, this is awesome. You know, right market, right technology, and so we talk. I feel like we talked enough about LYNX, and now I would like to focus more on the person, you know, who's leading the orchestra, because sometimes people forget that like there is like a CEO who's doing everything, you know, all the background. And as I said, like it's a great technology, and I would like to know about you, more about you. As you are a CEO, at what stage of your life, or what triggered you to be like, oh, I want to accomplish big things. I want to provide great technologies. I want to sort of change the world, you know, because the technology that you're going to provide in Southeast Asia is going to change their way of habits, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, going back probably even 20 years ago, when with one of the companies I was at, I had an opportunity to kind of get exposed to a lot of these markets, and to see the opportunity. And so that was, at the time, that was, you know, on the internet, right? You know, what could the internet do for people, and if people just had access to it? And you know, and my personal fundamental belief that is that a person in Canada is no different than a person in Africa versus no person in Southeast Asia. They all have the same capability. It's just a matter of tools. And really, we've seen tremendous things economically. So it was back then that I really got interested in and really excited about what are the things that essentially allow all of these different tools and put them in everybody's hands. You know, how do we get that infrastructure out? How do we deal with it? And there's a lot of things that you know, in a lot of cases, I was a little too soon. You know, we got very excited. We provided a service, and there are some of the components didn't quite line up, you know, in terms of cost structures or things like that. But I think what we're seeing in finance right now and financial services, and when you start looking at much higher up as to what's happening, even in the blockchain space and in the you know 5G space that's coming out, and just where the technology is going, I think that's the really big exciting part, and that's just something I've always wanted to be a part of. I mean, you know, putting these systems together and turning them on and having people use them and having it make a difference, that's exciting stuff.
Okay, well, it was very interesting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for explaining more about LYNX, about the future of LYNX, and thank you again also for you to know more about you. Both of these times were very interesting, amazing for me.
Well, thank you very much, and I really appreciate the time.
Thank you, and I would say lots of luck for the future, but we know that there's no luck in this type of company. It's like a lot of work, so wish you a lot of work and a lot of success for the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.